Alright, so we're back with the Ultra Sharps. My stone holder finally came in. And I got this Kershaw, or not Kershaw, not Kershaw. This Smith & Wesson 24/7 given to me, which is not sold to public. They put it in life rafts for survival use. And I'm going to be putting a new edge on it because I'll be honest, I wasn't really impressed with the edge it came with. Came with roughly a 20-degree bevel. Before I started this video, I gave it a few swipes here to reprofile it to roughly 17. And shaved off really well. But I plan on putting this through a future test. I plan on putting this knife to the test in the future since it's made for, survival use. Now it is a folder, it's not a fixed blade. And you'll put an edge on, we're going to see how long the edge can last, how much of a beating this knife can take, and even just simple things like even now when we sharpen it, is it easy to sharpen? Do I got to worry about the body getting hit in certain places? Does the handle feel well? Is it grippy enough? Stuff like that, even little things, or even just as a work knife. But yeah, finally got my stone holder. These are the 2x6. So we're going to start on it. Now I already started on this side, so we're going to continue to do it on this side till we get a burr and our scratch patterns fully cover it here. So we're going to go in. Now normally I try to avoid blades like Smith & Wesson brand, but because they're good at making guns, sometimes not knives. Now this knife though, it's different. It's obviously not sold out to the public, so I want to see how this one will do since it's designed for survival. We're starting out on the 300 grit. This is our reprofiling stone. So now I'm using my thumb here to help me indicate my angle. So I could do it like this or like this, but say I'm using a certain part of my thumb to hold my angle. So whenever I come off, I could just put my thumb back here on the certain part of the blade I already had it. Match the level I had it before, and that's my angle. I feel a bit of a burr developing up here, not throughout here yet. Alright, let's see. Alright, our scratch pattern looks good on this side. And I feel a burr on here. So we'll start on the other side. What we're going to do is we're going to do a gentle pass the other way. Like a reverse pass, almost like when you go to strop, you're just gently matching the angle. And what I'm going to do is the burr is a little metal wire. Since we sharpened this side, we pushed it over this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to gently brush it against the stone to fold it back this way. That way when we go to sharpening, we don't force it down and make it chip off and leave little micro chips in the blade that would result in not as sharp of an edge. So I'm going to reprofile this edge, this side. Now, whenever I do finish up this blade, we are going to strop. Although we're not going to strop to make it sharper or anything. Just to kind of work the burr back and forth without having to use a stone. Just because my stropping compound ain't here yet. I ordered some stroppy stuff for Micron. So it's a diamond emulsion. Kind of like how this is a diamond stone. And if you have a strop, I would recommend putting on some type of diamond emulsion. The aluminum oxide, the Amazon's one to come with. Alright, that side is looking much better than before. But our scratch patterns haven't fully reached the apex. What's the apex? The apex is the very tip of that edge bevel. So this is the edge bevel that you're grinding, and the apex is at the very end of that bevel, the sharp side, the very point, almost like the top of a pencil that you write on. That is the apex. And our scratch patterns have, man, I wish I could show y'all better. Maybe I'll do some like drawings later on in the future. But our scratch patterns are still on top of the edge bevel, but have not reached the very bottom of the apex yet. So we're going to continue sharpening until that scratch pattern covers the whole apex from here to the tip. So, but we're almost there. It's coming along nicely. And you can focus on some spots, kind of like what I did here. But don't focus on it too much, because what you're doing is you're grinding more metal here than you are throughout the entire blade. And the longer you stay, doing this, the longer you're going to have to sharpen it out to even out the spot you grind it off. So. And your first stone, I probably said this in the previous video, will be your most important stone. It is the foundation of your edge. So more than likely you're going to spend most of your time on the first stone just to reprofile your edge. But the better of an edge you can get on your first stone, the better. Because when you go to a finer grit stone, you're going based off the edge angle that you put on it with your first stone, and you're refining it pretty much. As far as we go for the 300 grit, we are done with it. And since I finished sharpening on this side, I'm actually going to swap to this side and start on this side. But first I got to move that burr. And that's kind of the whole point of starting on this side, because the burr is on that side. And I'm just going to move it, roll it over to the other side. And I'm still basically trying to work that burr back and forth. That way when it comes to stropping, it'll pop off a lot easier. Kind of like, yeah, I can actually see the burr folding over. Kind of like when you take a paper clip and you twist it back and forth until it breaks. That's what we're pretty much doing here. And when I go to a 600 grit, I'm pretty much trying to put new scratch patterns on. Excuse me. And I'm pretty much trying to replace the 300 grit scratch pattern with the 600 grit scratch pattern. And if I'm sharpening it and I'm occasionally taking a look at the the edge bevel to observe the scratch pattern. If I still see some of the scratch pattern from the 300 grit, I gotta keep sharpening until that's gone. And what the scratch pattern is, it actually puts very microscopic serrations or teeth, almost like a saw. And that's pretty much what this is. So that's what allows your knife to actually grip and cut into stuff. So I gotta keep going. The time it takes to sharpen your knife really does vary depending on who you are, how much experience you have. Do you know anything about sharpening? So your knife sharpening shouldn't take as long as mine does. It could be quicker, it could be longer. Depends on your experience and how much knowledge you have on knife sharpening. There are guys who can sharpen a paper towel cutting edge knife in about 5 minutes. Guys like Kneeves Knives, Jared Kneeves from Kneeves Knives, he's great. He educates a lot on knife sharpening. And so guys also like Outdoor Boys 55. Those guys I've actually watched a lot. That's why I've learned a lot about what I know about knife sharpening. And no, I don't know them at all. They didn't ask for any of that. But they are great, okay, at teaching about blades and knife sharpening. So just putting that out there in case y'all want to get more into knife sharpening. Those guys are great. All right, so I'm done with this side, going like this. So now I'm going to flip to this side and rock that burr this way. And that rolled over so nice. And now to remove the 300 grit scratch pattern on that side and replace with the 600 grit. I can actually see that burr developing, and it's developing pretty well so far. In fact, you can tell a good bit about the heat treatment of a blade with how the burr develops. Does it pop off easily? How big is it? How small is the burr? So we're gonna see how this one turns out, because I haven't actually tried messing with it with rocking it back and forth with my finger yet. So now I can't say this is necessarily exactly 17 degrees. It's probably like 18, could be 16. I just found the actual bevel degree that it had on the stone, and it seemed like a 20 degree, which a lot of knives will actually come with, because I don't know why, a lot of people back in when I was in scouts, they would teach 25 degrees is very durable and 15 degrees is very sharp. So the nice in between is 20 degrees, and I guess a bunch of manufacturers took something like that to heart and put 20 degrees on. It really depends on the geometry of the blade, how it's shaped. And it's alright to have 15 degree edge bevels, 17, and even all the way up to 25. But for knives, I found 17 is a sweet spot, because I heard a bunch of people talk about, 17 degree is great. And I just tested it out for myself, and so far it has been great for a little pocket knives like this, but we're gonna see how this one does with it. Alright, so now we are done. Just checking the other side to make sure. Now we're gonna work that. Alright, so I just finished on the 1200 grit. I know I said I was going to end it on a 600 grit, but I wanted to see how it would do. Stropped it. Got rid of the burr. Put towels. Cuts great, even with the fine tooth edge, so. It ain't, well, I guess you cut somewhat of a swirl, but yeah.